Hey there, and welcome. Have you ever been scrolling through your vacation photos and had a weird sense of déjà vu? Like, haven't I seen this picture a million times before? Well, today we're diving into a powerful, invisible force that shapes pretty much every trip you'll ever take. It's not just about why we travel, but how our culture has literally taught us to see the world.
So let's just start with this question, because you know exactly what I'm talking about. Why does everybody have that picture of themselves holding up the Leaning Tower of Pisa or standing at that one specific spot overlooking the Grand Canyon? I promise you, it is not a coincidence. There's something much deeper going on here.
The answer can be found in this really fascinating idea from sociology called the tourist gaze. Now, the key thing to understand is that this isn't about your personal taste. The theory is that our way of seeing new places isn't entirely our own. It's like we're all looking through a lens that's been built by our culture, and that lens tells us what's important, what's beautiful, and what's worth taking a picture of.
Okay, so what is this gaze really? The best way to think about it is like a cultural script for your vacation. It's this invisible set of instructions that guides you to certain landmarks, encourages you to take specific photos, and even shapes your expectations before you've even left the house. It's so much more than just looking around.
And to really get it, you have to understand this crucial difference. Seeing, well, that's just biology, right? It's what your eyes do. They process light. But gazing is something else entirely. It's a learned skill. It's a cultural act where we look at the world through a filter of ideas and values, sorting and classifying everything we see.
This gaze is baked into the very DNA of tourism. I mean, we travel to get away from our normal, boring, everyday lives. We fantasize about these incredible experiences, and because of that, our gaze is built on these powerful cultural signs, images that mean more than what they literally show. Think about it. A picture of two people kissing in front of the Eiffel Tower isn't just a picture of a kiss. It's a symbol, a sign, for timeless romance, an idea that was sold to us long before we ever booked the flight.
But here's the thing. It wasn't always like this. This way of seeing the world didn't just appear out of nowhere. It was built piece by piece over hundreds of years as travel went from being something only the super rich could do to a massive global phenomenon.
If you look back, travel used to be the ultimate status symbol. In the 17th century, you had the Grand Tour, which was basically a rite of passage for the sons of wealthy aristocrats. But then, in 1841, a guy named Thomas Cook completely changed the game by organizing the first ever package tour. And by the 1860s, something incredible started happening in England called Wakes Weeks, where whole working-class towns would go on holiday together. This was nothing short of a revolution.
And the technology that made it all possible? The railway. It was the engine of mass tourism. It completely collapsed travel times, turning journeys that took days into something you could do in a few hours. Suddenly, the world was opening up to millions of people who had never been far from home.
Okay, so the railway got people moving, but another invention would come along and define how we would see the world once we got there: the camera. This amazing little device didn't just record our travels, it actually started to create the experience itself.
And this quote right here absolutely nails it. Our gaze is never totally pure or original. It's performed inside what they call mediascapes. The entire universe of brochures, postcards, movies, and now, of course, social media. We think we're the ones framing a cool shot of the world, but the reality is we're also being framed by all the images we've already seen. This whole process led to a phenomenon called Kodakization. When George Eastman brought out those cheap, easy-to-use Kodak cameras back in the 1880s, photography went from being something for a few professionals to something literally everyone could do. And what happened? Tourist destinations started staging themselves to look better in photos, turning travel into a kind of scavenger hunt for the perfect picture.
And this creates this perfectly self-reinforcing loop that defines modern tourism. It goes like this. Step 1. You see an amazing photo of a place online. Step 2. That image makes you want to go there yourself. Step 3. You finally get there, and what's the first thing you do? You go find that exact spot to take your own version of that photo. And finally, step 4. You share your photo, which becomes step 1 for somebody else. The cycle just keeps on going.
But today, tourism has evolved again. It's moved beyond just passively looking at things. It's become an active, full-body experience. It's not just what you see, it's what you do. It's a performance.
Researchers call this the performance turn. And what it really means is that we're not just a passive audience anymore, just gazing at some scenery. No, we're active performers on a stage. We're experiencing these places with all our senses. We're touching the ancient walls, tasting the local food, and feeling the buzz of a crowded market.
And this performance can look very different depending on the situation. For example, you've got the romantic gaze, where you're seeking this private, almost spiritual moment, like watching a sunrise alone on a quiet beach. Now contrast that with the collective gaze, which is all about soaking up the shared energy of a crowd, like at a festival in Barcelona or on the Las Vegas Strip. Then there's the spectatorial gaze, which is more fleeting, like when you're just glancing at landmarks from a tour bus window. And finally, you have the reverential gaze, which is about a deeper, almost spiritual experience at a sacred site like the Taj Mahal.
But, and this is so important, the gaze is not a one-way street. That brings us to the mutual gaze. This is that fascinating moment when the locals start gazing back at the tourists. They're checking out their clothes, their cameras, their behavior. And in that moment, the whole power dynamic gets complicated. Everyone is watching and everyone is being watched.
Now let's bring this all right into the present day, because this entire concept has been put on steroids by that little device you carry around in your pocket. The smartphone and social media have totally rewritten the rules of the tourist gaze.
Think about it. Your smartphone has completely collapsed the entire act of photography. In the past, you take a picture, get it developed, and then look at it days later. Now, taking the picture, posing for it, and seeing the result all happen in the exact same instant. Our travel memories became instantly mobile, editable, and shareable, and that changed the performance forever.
And this leads us straight to the social media effect. Our photos are now broadcast to a global audience in seconds. The fact that we can delete and retake a shot 100 times gives us this incredible control over our image. Famous places get Instagrammed. They exist as much as a hashtag and a digital location as they do as a real physical place. And our travel photos have become these intense performances of the now. They get a ton of attention today, but are often forgotten by tomorrow.
And this quote just perfectly captures the strange paradox of modern travel. So often, tourism isn't really about the experience itself, but about creating and capturing a future memory of the experience. The pressure to document the moment can sometimes completely overshadow the act of actually living in it.
So, all of this leaves us with a final, pretty deep question to think about. When your whole trip becomes a performance for a camera, when it's about carefully recreating images you've already seen online, what does an authentic travel experience even mean anymore? It's definitely something to chew on the next time you pull out your phone to capture that perfect vacation shot.